than the last. The only similarity they all shared was unruliness. 4 of them were already at a marriageable age, with the eldest at 25, a confirmed bluestocking. What chance did he have of marrying any of them off to a wealthy gentleman bacon-brained enough to secure a fortune for his only son? He was sure that given time he could do it, but it would test even his legendary resourcefulness, especially if he was going to do it without spending any coin.
Right. We'll need a list of suitable, wealthy-titled gentlemen bottle-headed enough to take 'em on, Percy,
he decided, motioning for another mug of ale.
Then we'll let 'em know that I have, good, dutiful daughters who are in need of husbands.
As you wish, sir,
Percy said doubtfully, as the serving wench brought another ale for them both. The Reverend picked up his tankard and took a large gulp.
But before we do that, we'll start by writing down all the positive attributes of the chits, so that we can emphasize their good points to any prospective husbands. I mean, we both know that none of them are exactly bachelor fare, but we can fudge it a bit without anyone being the wiser. At least until they have a ring on their finger. We'll start with Grace, since she's the one most likely to end up an old maid, if we don't come up with the goods pretty sharpish. Right then, Percy, you start.
Silence. The Reverend frowned.
Come on, man. Surely you can find something good to say about her.
She has nicely turned ankles,
responded Percy, a bit desperately.
Steady on, Percy. I certainly hope you've never had an extended opportunity to observe my eldest daughter's ankles. Otherwise, I might have to call you out.
Percy reddened, flustered.
Oh, no, sir, not at all. I just happened to notice when she was climbing into the...
Well, I'm not sure if we can put that at the top of the list. But in Grace's case, we might have to resort to it. I mean, why her mother chose to call her Grace is beyond me, considering she's distinctly lacking in any attributes remotely divine-like. And she's the least graceful person I've ever come across. If there's something to trip over, Grace will find it. Clumsy doesn't even begin to cut it,
he added gloomily.
Well, she has very nice eyes,
Percy stated, thinking it best to keep any further observations about the Reverend's daughter above the neck.
And her teeth are sound.
The Reverend nodded, scribbling furiously.
Can she cook, sir?
The Reverend stopped writing and frowned.
I don't know that she can, Percy. At least not in the same capacity as Mrs. Tomlinson.
Probably best not to mention it, then,
Percy interrupted, hastily, unwillingly conjuring up the vision of Mrs. Tomlinson's bread-and-butter pudding again.
And anyway, marriage to a gentleman is not likely to necessitate her venturing into the kitchen.
The Reverend nodded thoughtfully.
How about her voice? Can she sing?
Like a strangled cat.
Dance?
I don't think she's ever danced with anyone. I just hope not, anyway. If she has, I'll have his guts for garters.
Conversation?
Percy was getting desperate.
Non-existent. I don't think she's spoken more than half a dozen words to me since she was in the crib.
The Reverend was becoming increasingly despondent.
Does she cut a good mother figure to her sisters?
The Reverend snorted.
I don't think any of 'em are without some kind of scar where she's dropped 'em at some time or another.
How about her brain?
Percy now resorted to clutching at straws.
Now that's something the chit has got. Every time I see her, she's got her nose in a book. Problem is, that's the one attribute any well-heeled gentleman will most definitely not be looking for.
Chapter 1. Nicholas Sinclair, newly appointed Duke of Blackmore, looked up at the imposing house in front of him and sighed, knowing he couldn't remain in the carriage for much longer. After a month of travelling, he longed for nothing more than a warm bed and a glass of brandy. Regrettably, it was only late afternoon, so the bed would have to wait, but certainly not the brandy. The door was opened by the footman, and Nicholas forced himself to move, taking his time on the step so he could climb down without falling on his face. It had taken nearly 6 months for him to be well enough to attempt the journey home. His father had been dead for 3 of them.
Your Grace, welcome home.
Nicholas straightened his coat before moving up the steps toward the...